When I started my YouTube channel, I was so scared. I remember just like thinking about how I would one day put my YouTube link in the bio of my Instagram. And I would sit on this thought for months. Like, I remember sitting on this thought and just being like, I wonder when I will be able to do it. Like, I wonder what's going to happen afterwards. Like, I'm scared to do it. How is it going to be when I do it? Are people going to click on it? Who's going to notice, right? And then I actually started my YouTube channel, and I remember this was around quarantine. I remember sending the link to everybody like that I knew, basically, because I felt better about the fact that I wouldn't have to see anybody in person for like a while. And I could just like send them the link and like feel better that like I would not have to see anyone in person. Like, I was really scared. So then that's what I did. I DM'd pretty much everybody that I knew when I had my old Instagram account, because I've lived many lives and I have like a new one now. So I would send the link to everybody that I knew, and then afterwards I started posting on this channel. And I just made videos about things that were important to my heart at the time, like how to heal from heartbreak, how to heal from depression, because that's what I was freshly out of. And so I'm so glad that I started this channel, because literally, personally, it has given me the drive and the determination to improve my life as well. And it was the fulcrum of my business. Like, it was through YouTube that I then decided to do coaching, and then do one-on-one calls, and then I did group coaching. Then I started to make digital products. Then I made a course. Then I made another course. Like, I've just been able to meet so many cool people and work with so many like people in the public eye, like just from this channel. And I'm so grateful. And I'm saying this all to say that if you want to do something, you have to do it. There's literally no time to be afraid. Fear is the number one most effective tool to keep humanity's consciousness at a low vibration and to keep people stuck in old ways of being and thinking. You cannot evolve when you feel fear. You cannot tell somebody that you love them when you feel fear. You cannot love someone properly, or love yourself properly, or understand God properly, who is love personified, when you feel fear. Like, fear just does not play any role in life. It should never play any role in life. If you are afraid of something, you do it. You assess the odds and you do it. Like, let's say you're afraid to communicate with somebody, or you're afraid to say how you really feel. That fear, what is it? It's alerting you. It's alerting you to the fact that there is something within you that is not functioning properly, or that needs attention, or that is a discrepancy with your soul. Right? Because the soul doesn't know fear. The soul is pure, unconditional love. It's acceptance. It's friendship. It's all of God's qualities, because we are God's children. It is expansive. Its mission is to evolve as us being here on this planet. So it's important to understand that fear is the motivating factor, or the motivating force of all things, or it should be. Fear is what motivated me to start my YouTube channel. Fear is what motivated me to put the link in my bio. Fear is what motivated me to send the link out to people. So if you are afraid of doing something, you do it, because it can and will change your life. And life is meant to be lived to the fullest degree. You know, like, we are supposed to explore our potential. And how can we do that if we are afraid of anything? Because the way you do one thing is the way you do anything. Just write that down. The way you do one thing is the way that you do anything. The way that you live your personal life is the way that you're going to do business. The way that you do business is the way that you're going to lead your personal life or create. The way that you think affects the type of person that you are and the limitations that you set for yourself. There should be no limitations. No limitations whatsoever in life. You feel fear? Great. That is a catalyst for you to go ahead and act, to go ahead and move towards love, because it's a spectrum. Love and fear are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. So if you're here in fear, then you're not here in love, meaning you are not actually living the life you're supposed to live. You know, it's very important to understand this. And it's very important to not fear anything or anybody. Don't fear anything. Don't fear anybody. Don't fear society. Don't fear judgment. Don't fear other people. Don't fear your spouse. Don't fear loss. Don't fear anything. Because everything in this life is gonna happen the way it should happen. And your job is to do your best in whatever situation that you are in. And the only way that you can do your best is by attaching yourself to love, to pure unconditional love, which is your consistency, your natural consistency. It's actually who you are, is love, not fear. Fear is a distortion of life. It's a distortion of human life, and it's purposefully administered upon human beings from a very young age to keep their consciousness vibrating at a certain level, to keep their nervous system shocked and fragmented. Actually, when you feel fear to such a high degree, it causes trauma in the body. And if this trauma is deep enough, it can fragment the soul. So have you ever heard that phrase, sell your soul, right? What does that mean? It means that the soul is not whole. It's fragmented. So parts of the soul actually sit in events, in memories, and in ways of thinking, right? So it's important to understand what that phrase means and to not sell your soul. I made a Twitter post. Let me see if I can find it. I've been talking for a long time. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get very tired. Hold on. Okay, so the post that I made on Twitter said, if you are a good person, the jealousy and madness of this world will slowly start to erode your empathy and love. You may become bitter, upset, callous, cold, unforgiving, and just like everybody else. Because when I say that, I mean the vibration of the world is at a low frequency because people are unhealed, right, ultimately. You may become bitter, upset, callous, cold, unforgiving, and just like everybody else. Do not let it happen to you. Your spirit is your greatest asset. Do not sell your soul. Okay, so that's what it means to sell your soul, is to keep it fragmented. And when I say that everybody is unhealed, this is not an attack on humanity. This is me saying that everybody, including myself, are not fully whole because we still have to exist in this world, and we come across like challenges, all the time. And so in order to be fully healed, we must continue to return to that space. It's a practice. It's a constant practice. So I'm just a messenger. Like, that's it, babe. Like, don't come for me. You know what I mean? Jeez, I'm getting tired, guys, of talking. I love you guys. So yeah, so we sell our soul in various different ways, like to negativity and to judgment, and we even sell our soul to what is that word? Perversion. We sell our soul to perversion. So let me talk about this briefly. There has been a war on human sexuality for the longest time because sexual energy is the purest expression of life force energy because it is survival based. That's why the root chakra, where our kundalini energy is stored, is our base chakra, and it affects all the other chakras, right? So it's important and everything flows from the root upwards. The kundalini energy flows from the root upwards. So it is never been more important to preserve your sexual energy. Okay, what does this mean? This means in word and thought and deed. This means through all of your orifices. You preserve your sexual energy through your eyes, through your ears, through your speech, through what you choose to see, through how you choose to interact with the world, right? You practice celibacy. You practice celibacy not just with your physical body, but also with your mind. And so there's been an attack on human sexuality for the longest time because when our focus is tied up in the root chakra, when our focus is tied up in our lower chakras, in our base chakras, and all of our attention and focus goes towards pleasure, right? Temporary pleasure instead of spiritual pleasure, which I'll talk about how they merge in a second. But when our focus goes towards temporary like bodily pleasure, right, engagement of the senses, what happens is something called what happens actually is that we get stuck in cycles or patterns or addictive loops, right, which can also result in negative karmic patterns in our lives. Everything is connected. So let's say you are constantly looking for like sense gratification, not just in a sexual sense, but also when it comes to indulging in food or indulging in like ego gratification, right, or indulging in anything or any of these things. You are ultimately lying to yourself about who you are. You are lying to yourself and living in a very animalistic way that ultimately keeps you stuck in those lower chakras, and you're not able to evolve. You're not able to rise that kundalini energy upwards. You're not able to understand God. You're not able to expand your consciousness. You are not able to evolve as a soul. And this is a problem that humanity is facing right now, because all types of programming are being pushed upon people to keep them tied up in these lower base chakras. If you hop on Instagram, what do you see? You see women and you see cars. Like, it's just obvious that the human consciousness is the one fundamental asset that we hold that is constantly under attack, okay? So understand this, and do your best to be celibate. It will change your entire spirit. It'll change your entire consciousness. It'll change your soul. It'll actually allow for your soul to evolve. And now I'm going to talk about sacred sexuality. So, and this is important conversation, by the way, so it needs to be said, and I will be the one to talk about it. Sacred sexuality is as follows. When you enter into a union that is overseen by God, okay, so what does this mean? This means you don't just marry anybody. You enter into a union, a covenant, an agreement that is overseen by God. God will unite two people together. And it says this in the Bible. It says that for every individual, there is a counterpart that has been created for them. So there's only one counterpart that has been created for them, for the purpose of joint work, for the purpose of creation of life, and for the purpose of a continuation of lineage. So there is always an option or an opportunity for every single individual to continue their lineage, because as human beings, we have that right, we have that option, right? So that is the purpose of sex, and that is sacred sexuality. When you enter into sexual union with somebody, under the direction, under the protection, and under the blessing or the go ahead. Hold on. Sorry. Under the blessing of God, right? So what does this mean? This means that before you marry anybody, before you enter into a union with anybody, you want to make sure, right, that this person is for you. You want to make sure that this person, so what do? You fact check. You go to God. You ask God. You do not hold any doubt in your mind, but instead you look at signs. You look at how things could possibly work out. You look at how this person may have been sent to you. You look at it from God's perspective. You go to God and you ask God and you consider. So this is important information for anybody who may be thinking of choosing their spouse. And, you know, celibacy, again, is advised before you enter into a union with anybody. And I will be the one to say that because I believe in it and I know that it is beneficial. And I will always talk about what I believe in, and I will always give you guys the sauce. So celibacy will change your life. If you have not started or tried to be celibate, even when it comes to your own body, you should try to, because it will skyrocket your intelligence. It'll skyrocket your intelligence. It'll expand your energy. It'll expand your wealth. It'll expand your beauty. It'll expand your heart center, right? And you will evolve levels. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a very drawn out video and quite a long one, but if you did, give it a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed this information. Subscribe for more. Comment down below what your favorite part of this video was. I love you guys very much. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you in the next one.